It's gonna be the bodice. So, hold on a second, take this off so you can hear me. It's gonna be the bodice. So what we did is the skirt. Also, one of the reasons that I made you put your skirt on is so you understand where your waist is falling. Because when we're draping this needs to match, always. Because then you're not gonna have an 1.5 inch gap, and then your patterns are gonna fit, and then when you cut it, nothing's gonna fit. And you know when that happens, you have to redo everything again. And I'm pretty sure everyone has noticed that, especially when you're sewing patterns that someone else made for you. Yeah, it hurts, especially when you're using really expensive fabric. So now we're gonna do prepping our muslin. We're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna work on the front. We're gonna do 1 inch. But this time, we are gonna give it more room. Meaning, you know how we went 10 inches from here, and then we met the hip? Right now, our line is gonna be the apex. That's gonna guide us to how the grain looks, okay? So we're gonna do a basic. So we're gonna go down 14, I will say 13 inches from the top. And this is gonna be, you guys are gonna be also slashing. So make sure you have scissors, okay? And there you go, your lines are very straight going. And then what we're gonna do is, where am I? Here they are. So we're gonna place this the same way that we place everything, except, why do we have the tape here? The tape helps us for this section not to collapse. Because right now when we're taping, we can't have this so close to the center front. Then you're not giving space to the bust. Because the bust is never gonna collapse here. It's not gonna be, unless you want it to, but right now we're not. This is different. Everything is gonna like peak. You see how my apex to apex always makes room. So what we're gonna do, same thing that we did before. Remember how we try to analyze this, we try to make sure that we are using this as a guide to help us. We're not pinning yet, we're just slightly helping us put this muslin, just to help us put this along the center front. So the center front is what keep us, make sure it's the main one that keeps the grain always in its place. Then we're gonna pin it around. Remember, don't super pin it. I know you guys have a tendency to like push the pins all the way through. We're gonna be taking out a lot, so just a little bit. Also, it makes us, it helps us also know when we're looking at this, oh, this is my center front. Like out of nowhere, like I can really see where it is at. Now you see how this is trying to go in? You're gonna take the bottom and you're gonna bring it up slightly. You see how that is now pushed up? Not like this. I don't want this. It should not be pulling. It should have some ease. You're gonna bring it up, and at the same time, you see how my apex is still lined up to my tape? Same way. You're gonna pin it a few inches down. You're not gonna pin it right here. Because if you pin it right here, you're pulling it. You're not trying to pull this. This has to be some ease to it. Okay? And then we're just gonna go all the way down. I am leaving my skirt drape so you understand what I mean when I try to mark it. And we're gonna mark soon. You guys are gonna love it. We're gonna be slashing. You guys have to get comfortable in slashing your muslin today. We did it a little bit last week. So you see that now? You see how there's a little gap, right? But you're seeing like, oh, but why is this going down? This is when we do the same thing that we did in the hip. We're gonna bring it around. If we have to step back to make sure everything is straight. You're not pulling again, you just make it, just move, like flatten it out. You're just flattening, that's that. And you're just making sure all around, and you have to step back, then nothing's collapsing. This is collapsing a little bit, like a smidgen. Remember your apex, this is the apex of the dress form. Depending if you have other people, other clients, your apex will change. But right now we're only dealing with this dress form. And it also, your apex changes, just in case if you guys know, later on, it changes also based on the size of the cup. Okay, so yeah, and you'll notice. So now we have a lot of excess. You see how much excess we have? So we're not gonna work on the bottom first, we're gonna work on the top. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna take our scissors and we're gonna cut. First, cut a little small circle out of it, enough that I still have fabric here. You're not going all over. Then what we're gonna do, I'm gonna try to make it so you can see it. We're gonna slash it. We have our tape already. Do not slash beyond the tape. Try to do at least 1/4 inch from the tape. For now, you're gonna get to a point that you'll know. First you slash it, and you flatten. You slash and flatten. You see what a difference that makes already? Slash and flatten. Ta-da. Now, I can still see some puckering. I'm gonna slash a little bit more. As long as I'm not going beyond my tape. Sometimes you might have to put more slashes in between. There you go. You see how smooth that looks already? Huge difference. So what we're gonna do now, we're gonna pin the neck. Because we don't want this to move. We already draped it at this point. The neck is straight. So we're just gonna, same thing. We're gonna lightly pin it. We're not gonna vary the pins. And this is when you figure out what you wanna follow to. Is it the bottom of the tape or the top of the tape? And you have to be consistent. Because you're gonna be doing the same, whatever you do to the front, you're doing to the back. Okay, so now that this is pinned, you can see there's still more excess right here. You see how this is going? So much excess, right? So what we're gonna do is this. We're gonna find our princess seam because this is a 2 dart. Princess seam, there's gonna be a dart from the shoulder to the apex, and there's gonna be a waist dart, the waist pointing to the apex. I'm pretty sure you've seen this sloper in pattern making already. We're doing this, but now with fabric. All right, same thing. We're gonna slashy. Not all the way to my armhole, but you see that I'm just slashing a little bit. And you can even cut it if you want to. You're not slashing all the way out. For people that have smaller dress forms, you can change the length of your muslin by a little bit, like maybe by 1 inch or 2 inches, if you want to, because we're slashing a lot. So we make sure that this is pinned, right? Everything's straight, nothing's collapsing again. I didn't pull anything. My center front is not pulled, it's in the same place before I do this. So we're gonna pin first. Why do we pin it? So I can stop the excess. So I'm gonna pin it. You see how much flatter that looks now? And you're gonna bring it in. How do I know this is enough? You see what your armhole is doing right now? You see how much is puckering? We're trying to avoid, we don't want this. You see this is doing nothing. Your armhole's not there. Your armhole should be smooth and beautiful. So we're gonna bring it up. This is why I'm telling you not to slash so much. So we're gonna bring it up. So you see that how much flatter that looks already? And we're gonna bring this up. That's that. And sometimes this might not help you. It's like going all over the place. So what you can do is just slightly pin it in the back. Don't pull. Don't ever. So I know when we were doing the skirt, there was a tendency to pull your drape, right? You cannot pull the bodice at all because then you're gonna unbalance everything. So you see, once again, I put the pin. Not bad. Look at my armhole now. You see it's not puckering, it's not doing anything, it's not going up. It's pretty smooth. Yay. Now, They're gonna be, depending on the size that you're doing, you might have to cut a little bit more for yourself. You might have to cut a little bit more to make that even more smooth. See that? The excess is going away. But at the same time, this grain is staying the same. This grain is, have you noticed, guys? It's not going down, it's not going up, it's not going sideways. If this grain is going down, you're not doing something right. You're not picking up the excess. This grain is supposed to help you know how much excess you need to pick up from here. And that's one way to know about how much excess you're supposed to do. Because there's things such as too much picking up. So just pin that really lightly. And now we're gonna go into the waist. Okay, same thing, we're good. We have our line, our center front looks still good, but we have now this part. This is so much, right? This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna take this, we're gonna cut it a little bit. Like, I think some of you that have sizes 2 or 6, you might be getting away with like maybe 12 inches wide, maybe even 10. But this is your first time, more is better. So anyways, so you see, I'm not pulling this. What I need you to see this. You see, when I pull this, you notice how much the drag lines? You're not pulling. You're trying to make sure like this does not get compromised. So the same thing that we did with the skirt, remember how we made sure that this is straight? We're gonna do the same thing. Right now, this looks pretty straight to me. But you're like, but this is like puckering and stuff. Well, you slash it. You're gonna get used to slashing. And that helps it. Remember, but do not slash it beyond your sizing. Always give yourself enough room. Because once you pass the sizing or like what the bodice looks like, then it becomes, it's really difficult. Your fit will move. Now we're gonna pin lightly our sizing. You see, this is the excess that we need to work with. All this. And we're gonna follow our princess line, and it's right here. Same thing, but I see there's puckering here again. Same thing, I'm gonna cut it down. Sometimes I just cut like up to 2 inches. You know, it's better for you to cut little by little than cut everything at once. Because it is harder for you to tape the muslin together. I've done it, it happens, right? Thank you. It happens, but when it does, it's like, have to take it out and tape it. And you have to tape in the same grain, okay? Same thing, it's still puckering. You see how much is still puckering here? We're gonna take our scissors. We're gonna, actually first we're better, but not that much better. Okay, this is my princess seam. And this is what I meant. If you're gonna stay in the bottom of the tape, it's the bottom of the tape for the waistband. Okay? Right here. Do you see how smooth that looks? I'm not pulling. You should not be pulling. It should be very light. So same thing, we're gonna do the same way that we did it before. Princess seam here. Now, this looks pretty good already, but it could look better. It's this puckering. No bueno. What we're gonna do, we're gonna slash it. Just gonna slash you away. And also same thing, we're not slashing beyond our waist tape. We're gonna take it and we're gonna smooth it out. We're gonna smooth it out, and I think we can slash it even more. Remember, not beyond your tape. Once we pass our tape, it's really hard to control it. And this is what I meant. Do not bury your pins because you're always gonna take it out and smooth it out. And same thing, you can match it to your skirt or whatnot. This is fine, same thing, smooth it out. But this is the difference. When I smooth out, this stays the same. Now you can see this is the bodice. We started with everything looking too much excess. Now we have, it looks pretty smooth, right? So this is what we're gonna do. I think, tell me if you guys, if this is too much right now, or you want me to keep going. This is a lot. Okay, got it. We are gonna finish here, and then I'll show you the next step.